Hello everybody, Mobius1 here, and today I am very excited to be showing you all 3 brand new cards from Star Wars Unlimited's upcoming set, A Lawless Time. Now, I had originally planned on doing a bit of a skit at the beginning of this video, but let's be honest, you're all really just here to see the new cards, so let's jump right into them. Before we do, I just wanted to say a huge thanks to Fantasy Flight Games for including me in this set's spoiler season. The Lawless Time hype train is real, and I can't wait to see what else FFG has been cooking up for 2026. Alright, let's look at the cards. First up, we have Toydarian Technician. This is a 2-cost Cunning Vigilance ground unit with 2 power, 3 HP, the Underworld trait, Raid 1, and Restore 1. So Toydarian Technician's got quite a few things going on for him. First of all, the 2-cost 2/3 stat line is, let's be honest, at this point a little below rate. We're seeing more and more 2-cost 3/3s as well as 2-cost 2/4s going around the meta these days, but a 2-cost 2/3 can be respectable if it's got enough other things going for it, and Toydarian Technician might actually have that. The Underworld trait has always been one of the most relevant traits in Star Wars Unlimited, and I don't really see that changing anytime soon. The fact that it has Raid 1 means that even though it is a 2/3, when it's the one attacking, it will be swinging as if it is a 3/3, and Restore 1 will give you a bit of incidental base healing as the game goes on. Now, the fact that it's locked behind the Cunning Vigilance aspects means it might struggle to see a little bit of play simply because that color combination isn't particularly powerful, or hasn't been known to be anyway. But if you are playing a yellow-blue deck, I think Toydarian Technician's actually a really solid option for a turn 1 play. The only 2-cost 3/3s we have in this color have some sort of drawback, such as General Grievous being bounced back to your hand whenever he's the target of an attack, or something like Lothwolf, where even though it is a 3/3 with Sentinel, it can't attack. Overall, I think Toydarian Technician is going to be a card that's only played in a very specific deck, but I think in that deck, it's going to be a rather strong tool. I will say I think there is a bit of a flavor fail here, seeing as how we're getting Toydarian Technician in a set that is full of cards that generate credit tokens. I firmly believe that Toydarian Technician should have probably been a little bit more powerful, and yet had a clause on the card saying that it could not be paid for with regular resources, only credits. Because we all know mind tricks, or in this case resources, don't work on Toydarians, only money. Next up, we have a Vigilance event. This is Betrayed Trust, a 2-cost trick event that says choose an enemy unit. For this phase, that unit can't deal combat damage. This one's quite interesting because the first time I read this card, I thought it might have been a new tool for a hard control deck, but while I think it might see use in that type of deck, I don't believe that's the only style of deck that would want to run this card. Running a card like this in a control deck really isn't getting done what you're trying to do. I mean, it's really not getting rid of any enemy unit, it's just delaying the inevitable. Sure, it might stall the game a turn, let you get an extra resource, maybe that gives you enough to play a board wipe or something, but at the end of the day, you're paying 2 resources to just stall. If you're playing more of a mid-range deck, however, Betrayed Trust could be used to basically allow your units to attack into a larger enemy unit without taking damage back. Maybe your opponent plays a Devastator and puts all the indirect damage into your base while you've got some space units in play. You pay 2 for Betrayed Trust, now your space units can swing into it, take it out, and take no damage in return. It is worth mentioning that this only prevents a unit from doing combat damage during a phase, which means if that unit has some sort of on-attack ability that deals damage, then that will still happen. But overall, I actually really like this card. I think it's cheap enough that I believe it's going to find a home in some deck, whether that's a control deck that's just looking to stall until higher resource count, or a mid-range deck that uses this as a form of pseudo removal, which allows their own units to trade into the targeted unit without being killed. I'm not sure, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this ends up. And last but certainly not least, we have Jango Fett, Wily Mercenary. He's a 6-cost Cunning Vigilance Villainy ground unit with 6 power, 5 HP, the Underworld and Bounty Hunter traits. He's shielded and has on attack. If this unit is upgraded, exhaust an enemy unit. All right, so let's talk about Jango. Paying 6 for a 6/5 shielded. is a little slow. Normally, if you're going to be paying 6 or more resources for a card, you want it to have some sort of immediate impact on the board, and even though Django does have the shield token and does have an on-attack ability, he's not going to be impacting the board at all when you play him. Now, if you do manage to attack with him and he's upgraded, which, as a reminder, shield tokens count as upgrades, you'll get to exhaust any enemy unit, which is great that it's across arena, meaning he can exhaust space units if your opponent's lane dodging. The tricky part is going to get him to keep that shield token until the next round where you're able to attack with him, or giving him some other type of upgrade. Or even better, giving him ambush somehow. And the easiest post-rotation way I could see giving him ambush is with the new Jabba the Hutt leader's ability. He does have that underworld trait, meaning it synergizes perfectly with Jabba. Unfortunately, due to the cunning, vigilance, villainy aspect requirement, you won't be playing him with Dryden Voss, although that would have been really awesome. I think there are a lot of ways that you could enable Django's ability even if he loses the shield token. I mean, all you need to do is get 1 experience token on him somehow, and that counts as him being upgraded. And if you can get him to stick and get him to exhaust an enemy unit each round, I think he's a super powerful unit. The issue really is just going to be getting him going, because the round you play him, he's unfortunately not going to be doing much for you. Now, if the meta slows down due to rotation, you know, we're losing a lot of removal options, and Waylay's not going to be a thing, even though Beguile still hits him because he costs 6. It's possible that he becomes super powerful, but similar to Toydarian Technician, the triple aspect requirement of yellow, blue, black is also severely limiting his playability. But again, there's no denying how powerful of an on-attack ability this is. I mean, being able to hit space units or even leaders, it is a very, very powerful ability. So with all that said, I did throw together a bit of a deck using at least 2 of the cards that I've talked about in this video today, and that is a Jabba Blue deck. Obviously, I haven't had the opportunity to test this deck, so I don't know how playable it is, although I am very excited to give it a shot eventually. This deck is a mostly underworld-focused mid-range deck that has a bunch of different upgrades in it, as well as other units that kind of synergize with upgrades. I got 2 copies of Zam Wesell in there as a 2-cost 1/5. If you could stick an upgrade on her, she gets grit. It's not too bad. Contracted Hunter, 3-cost 4/4 ambush unit that you could then bounce back to your hand with Jabba's ability to give you a credit token. Seems like a good option. We threw the Toydarian Technician in there just to see how a 2-cost 2/3 raid 1, restore 1 will do. And as far as upgrades themselves, so 2 copies of Emergency Powers, because why not just stick a whole bunch of experience tokens on Django or whoever. 3 copies of Nimble Prowess, because if Django does lose that shield token, having a 1-cost upgrade to just throw on him, which will immediately affect the board by exhausting unit and then allowing him to attack and exhaust something else, seems pretty strong, as well as giving him that incidental +1/+1, turning him into a 7/6. 2 copies of Ascension Cable you can throw on and make him a 7/8 with Saboteur. 2 copies of Disciples Devotion really works better with Zam Wesell, giving her Sentinel while she's exhausted, just because she does have 5 HP baseline plus the extra 3 off of the upgrade. But I think a really spicy option that I decided to put in here is 2 copies, maybe should have been 3, but 2 copies of the Shuttle ST-149, the one that comes into play with a shield token and then allows you to take control of a token upgrade and move it. You can use that to give another shield back to Django, or if your opponent is playing, like, I don't know, an Obi-Wan deck, you can use it to steal one of their experience tokens and stick it on Django that way. And like I said earlier, because we're playing with the new Jabba the Hutt leader, while he's deployed, if you play Django and you use a credit token to help pay for him, he'll gain Ambush, which will allow you to attack with a 6/5 shielded and exhaust something at the same time, which, come on, that's pretty strong. And it's not an upgrade, but I did happen to notice while building this that Cunning Villainy has Fully Armed and Operational, which, if you're not familiar with that card, I don't blame you. This is a 1-cost event that if your opponent attacked your base with their last action, you can play it for 1 and then play a unit from your hand, giving it Ambush, which is just another way to give Django Ambush. So that's really it. Admittedly, Django is really slow. If you just play him for 6, you're just getting a 6/5 shielded unit, which isn't great. But I think his power ceiling is quite high, so we're going to have to play test and see how it goes, but I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks again to FFG for giving me the opportunity to show these new cards to everyone. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video and check it out. I know you could just pull these images up on a database somewhere, so I really appreciate you actually clicking the video. If you're new here, I do have a YouTube series called Do You Know Star Wars Unlimited, where I show edited versions of Star Wars Unlimited cards to players and other content creators to see if they can catch what's wrong with them. I'll have a link to that playlist in this video's description. I also created a website called SWUniversity.net, which you can use to quiz yourself on Star Wars Unlimited rules, as well as play Do You Know Star Wars Unlimited at home. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, please leave a like and a comment. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the power level of these cards, both good or bad, and different deck ideas that you think might work with them or enable them in some way. And if you want to see more Star Wars Unlimited content from me, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. But that's going to be it for now. Thank you all for watching. Thanks again, FFG. I'm Mobius1. I'll see you in the next one.